Hey everyone, welcome back to Creekside Homestead, Alaska. If you're new here, my name is Karen. Today we got a lot going on. I am going to be canning up some ham and bean soup, as well as a couple other things we'll get into. But if you watched our pantry video a couple of videos back, you'll notice that I had a couple of empty spaces. We're late into the winter here. Actually, we're technically spring, but it's still 0 outside and there's still way too much snow on the ground for this time of year. But regardless, I have some empty spaces in my pantry that need to get filled for the summer and fall. So we're gonna start with ham and bean soup. And that's because right now is the perfect time of year for this, being that hams are going on sale for Easter and there's just so much you can do with it, one of them being making this soup. So I'm going to show you what I do, but before I do that, I just want to make it clear that this is basically my recipe, the way I do things. Always do your research. If you're going to be pressure canning meats, beans, things like that, make sure that you're comfortable with what you're doing. I am very comfortable. I've been making this for quite a few years now and have yet to have a bad jar or a failed jar. But do your research, go on to the National Center for Food Preservation. I think that's the full name. I will share the link in the description box. But yeah, so do your research. I'm just here to show you how I do things and maybe give you a little bit of inspiration. So with that being said, let's get to it. This is really easy. This is really perfect for, well, we eat soups all year long. We're out in the summer, we're out in the garden all summer long. So I love to have quick, like meals in a jar, freezer meals done, so that we have something quick and easy to do. It just doesn't take a long time. We just don't have a lot of time in the summer. So I'm gonna start with pinto beans. So I've soaked these overnight. You can do 2 methods: soak them overnight or put them in a pot of water, bring them up to a boil for 2 minutes, and then let them sit for an hour. Turn it off, let it sit for an hour, and then you can use it just like you would overnight soaked beans. So I've got pinto beans here. Traditionally, you use white northern beans or anyways, can't say that. Those kind of beans. But I didn't have any. I'm completely out of them. So those went on my Walmart shopping list. But I have tons and tons of dry pinto beans. We buy them in bulk from Costco. And then we come home, Mylar bag them, and we are able to use them. I don't think we've bought pinto beans for 2 years, maybe. That's how many we buy and how much we store, and it's awesome. So we're gonna use these, and whatever I have left over, I'll just can pinto beans by themselves because we use quite a lot of those, so never have too many of those. So I'll do that. And then I've got my ham already chopped up, and like I said, I just bought a spiral sliced ham from the store, from Costco, and chopped it up. I've got roughly, it's equivalent to about half a cup per jar. So yeah, so I've got that chopped up, and then the rest of it we're just gonna slice up for sandwiches. We'll freeze like quart bags of them so that we take a little bit out at a time. And then the bone I will use later on, probably around Christmas time. We do a lot of soups and stuff like that from scratch. So nothing will go to waste. And hopefully soon well, next year, maybe, we'll have our own pork. More on that to come later. And then in this bowl, I have about 1.5 to 2 cups of chopped onions, same amount of chopped up carrots, and these are from our garden. So again, this is a very cost-effective meal. And then I've got about 6 cloves of garlic minced up in here. And then I'm going to be adding some thyme, probably about a tablespoon of thyme to the pot over here. And then these are just some more onions. I'm going to be doing a couple more recipes here, so I'll need those for that. Oh, I guess I should backtrack a second. In addition to this, I'm going to be making some chicken stew or chicken soup. And then I'm going to attempt to hopefully get done today, but maybe not till tomorrow, some potato soup. So I'm really excited about that because I don't have any of that on my shelf. Okay, so in here I've got chicken broth and 2 bay leaves. I just have simmering in there with the chicken broth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the vegetables in the pot, the ham in the pot, the herbs in the pot, and let that all come up to a simmer for about five minutes. I just want everything to be warm because, or hot, because they're going to be going into these hot jars, which have been in here simmering. They're sterilized. They are good to go. And then I've got my lids back there. I've got my paper towel, vinegar soaked paper towel for wiping the rims. And that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. Get this all heated up. You can add the beans to it. My beans are already warm. I had them in just plain water, and then I just drained them. So they are warm. They're fine. So I'll add about a cup to the jars. And then we'll do probably about half a cup of the solids that are going to be in this broth, and then we'll top it off with broth. But I'm going to show you how I do it. Just going to put about a tablespoon of thyme in here. And then we're just going to add all of these carrots, onions, and garlic. Right, and then we're going to add our chopped up ham. And I think that's it. So we're going to let that heat up. And then once that simmers for about 5 minutes, I'm going to take the bay leaves out and toss those, and then we will finish up. Okay, so this has been simmering for about 5 minutes and maybe 10. I took the bay leaves out, trashed those, and now we are ready to get our canning on. Put this back on low. These jars are smoking hot. I've got about 2.5 inches of water in there, so that's why I'm emptying these jars, because I don't need any more water in the bottom of my pot. Add about a cup. I do a heaping cup, so it's probably more like 1 1/4 cup, which is perfectly safe. And then we're gonna do just want to eyeball this so I know what about a 1/2 cup is. Okay, so it's about a spoonful like I thought. Okay, I'm gonna put that in there. Wasn't quite enough. And then we're gonna add broth. And I'm just using the broth that's in here. And we're gonna fill this up to 1-inch headspace. That should be about 1 inch. Let me debubble here. Oh, this smells so good. Perfect. I wipe my jars down very, very good, especially because of that chicken broth in there. I want to make sure that I don't have anything that's going to cause me to not have a good seal. So just get that on, and I do mine about fingertip tight. And that's it. I'm just gonna keep on getting this done until I'm out of soup. So if you end up running out of broth like I did, you can always add more broth, or you can add some hot water to each jar. Which is what I'm gonna do. I just have a kettle over here of our filtered water, and I just heated that up because I just don't want to use up any more of my broth. So it looks like I am gonna get all 7 of these jars filled, which is awesome. Because like I said before, this is just a really easy, quick meal that all I gotta do is put it in a pan, heat it up for about 10 minutes. If I want to adjust the seasonings at that point, I can. And then that's it. Have a salad, some bread with it or whatever, and you're good to go. We just spend so much time outside in the summer, and I have a feeling this summer might be even busier. So before I get going hot and heavy in the garden, which is quickly approaching, I want to get as much as I can in the house done, and that includes getting some meals prepped by canning and also doing some freezer meals, which that video will be coming up shortly. All right, that is the last jar. That's awesome. I wasn't expecting to get all 7 quarts. So now, I'm just gonna pop this lid on. And again, when you're doing this, any type of pressure canning, make sure you're following your canner instructions. I have an All-American. Anyways, I'm gonna get this steaming here, venting. I'm gonna let it vent for 10 minutes. Then I'll put my weight on, wait till it comes up to pressure, it'll start jiggling. Then I'll set my timer for 90 minutes once it starts to come up to pressure. Then I'll turn the heat off, let it come back all the way down to 0. Take it off, let it sit in the can for about, or in the canner for about 5 minutes with the lid off. And then I put them on a towel and let them sit there overnight. And then tomorrow I'll go stick them in the pantry and I'll have another check mark off my list of things to can, which is awesome. We're getting there. All right. Timer is going off. Now all I'm going to do is just turn the stove off. I am not touching the weight on that until my gauge comes down to 0. Are we going to sit outside?
It's up to you. I think it's too chilly for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The sun's nice, but the air is freezing.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to canning some chicken soup. And I just realized as I went shopping in our home grocery store that this recipe, every single thing that's going in here is ours. So I've got carrots here from the garden, and guys, these, I mean, they look so good. They're still just like they just came out of the garden. So I've already scrubbed these. I just have to peel them and chop them up. I've got chicken that I need to debone, and this is from our rooster that we just culled not too long ago. So I'm going to use the rest of that chicken to go in this. So I'm going to debone that and get that chopped up. And then our onions from the garden. We're getting really low on onions, but I think I have one big old bag left. So I'm going to peel these, chop these up, and then our home canned chicken broth. And this stuff is so, so good. And this is also from last year in the fall when we culled a bunch of chickens. I was able to use those carcasses and make a ton of chicken broth. So we're going to use that. So I'm just going to get all this stuff prepped up and ready to go. And then I'm going to throw it in this pot right here, bring it up to a boil and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. And then it'll be ready to can in our hot jars that are in here waiting. All right, so I've got everything chopped up, and I'm just going to add it to the chicken broth that's in here. And I've got probably about 3 cups of chicken meat. and 2 cups of chopped up carrots, and just a little over 1 cup of onions. All right, we're just gonna let that come up to a boil, simmer for about 5 minutes, just to get everything heated through, and then we'll get these in jars. All right, we are ready to can. This has been simmering for about 5 minutes. Everything's nice and hot. Got my hot jars, my hot lids, my hot soup. One thing I did want to mention is this is a very basic soup. I mean, if you wanted to, you could add potatoes to it for a more stew type of things. I will be adding some thyme and some salt to each jar, but that's really it. And I do that just, so I can use it a bunch of different ways. You can throw this in a pot and add some rice to it and some cream for like creamy chicken and rice. You can obviously add noodles to it. Just a bunch of different ways that you can use this. And that's what I do a lot of times, is I will keep it pretty basic in the jar. And then that lets me be able to use it a bunch of different ways. I'm hoping to get 4 jars, but I maybe might only get 3. But that's okay. That's, 3 or 4 more jars on the shelf, more meals. So I'm adding a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's just for flavor. And then I'm adding about a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. You could put oregano in there. You don't have to put anything in there. So I'm going to, this is only going to give me 3 jars, I bet. And when you're canning in a pressure canner, you want to make sure you have at least two quarts. We try to fill it up, just, you're using up resources every time you run it, and we like to maximize, but in this case, the potatoes that I'll be doing next have totally different time than this chicken soup, because there's chicken in it. I have to process it for that amount of time, which is 90 minutes. And if I remember right, I think the potatoes are only 40, so forgot the salt in here. And we're just going to fill these up to about 1 inch, which on these wide mouth jars is that first ring there. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells so good. All right, got those 3 in there. Okay, so took my chicken soup out, and now we're going to move on to the last canning project of the day, which I originally said I was going to do potato soup, but I changed my mind because I was looking into my ball book here, and this is a really good one because it has recipes in there that you can use from the stuff that you can, so it's a really cool book. But in here it's got a section on vegetables, and raw packing potatoes is in there. So it's got different ways that you can use your vegetables, and there are actually some pretty interesting recipes in here. And one of them is for herbed potatoes, which is what I'm going to do today, because all you really need to do, it says, is empty your jar into a pot, add butter and, what does it say? Butter and milk, and they make excellent mashed potatoes. And I'm going to be putting broth into these jars, so it's going to give them that much more flavor. So I think this is the way to go because, again, I can use the potatoes in more ways. So that's what we're going to do. All this requires is, this is a raw packing method. So I've got my hot jars, my hot broth, my excuse me, my potatoes, which have been at room temperature for quite a while. So as you know, they store out in our garage in a very cold area. So I brought the bags in this morning and let them come up to room temp. And then we're just going to be adding some dried rosemary, pepper, salt, and thyme to each jar. So this is going to be super, super simple. And then I'll top them off with the broth. And I think it's, let me see what the headspace is. So it's a 1-inch headspace too. So we're going to leave it at 1-inch headspace, and it's going to pressure can for 40 minutes. And that's it. It's that easy. So let's get on with this one because I have dinner to cook. Get my jar going here. Right. So I'm just going to add the potatoes into the jar. And yes, my hands are clean. I don't really need the funnel yet at this point. I'm hoping to get 4 to 5 jars out of here, which I think I can. All right. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. You guys know how I feel about that much salt, so I'm only going to add a teaspoon. And then I believe it's a teaspoon of everything else. And this is a half teaspoon, by the way. Yeah, 1 teaspoon of pepper. It's a lot of pepper. Teaspoon of thyme. Oh, you know what? Ingredients per 2, 1 quart. Okay, so that was way too much pepper. So for each one is going to be 1 teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of pepper, a half teaspoon of rosemary, and a half teaspoon of thyme. So this will work out good. This one's just going to have a lot of pepper. And then we're going to add our broth. I am really cannot wait to try these. Take my debubbler. just a touch. Just a touch more broth. Okay. Wait, my jar. Oh my gosh, that's hot. Ring or lid, ring, and then and here it goes. That's it. It's that simple. So I'm just gonna keep doing this until I'm out of potatoes. All right, last jar. Oops. Oh my gosh, I think I'm almost perfect amount. 4 little potatoes left. Awesome. Well, it's been 24 hours. These have all been sitting out. And let's just go over what we've got. Oh my gosh, these potatoes look so good. I cannot wait to try them. And I guarantee you, if they look or taste as good as they look, I will be doing this a lot in the fall with our potatoes. So we got 5 jars of those, which is really cool. And then 3 jars of our chicken soup base mix, I guess you want to call it. Would have liked to have gotten a little bit more, but that's okay. And then we got 7 jars of ham and bean soup, which this will last us for quite a while. So I am pretty much set for the season as far as canning. I'm getting ready to dive into gardening here soon. So canning time is pretty much over. I think I have to can another round of bone broth, both chicken and beef. And then as the season goes on and we use up our beans, like pinto beans and black beans, I'll can another round of those as well. But as far as heavy canning goes, this is pretty much it. I will be doing a freezer meal weekend. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then it's all about the garden and the gardening season. So super excited to move into spring and get stuff growing, which will be coming soon. I've already got quite a bit in the she shed under lights, and I'll be showing you that here soon, how that's coming along. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.